without further ado, Unscripted with Crackman Bill Krackomberger. Oh, there he is.
Morning.
In the flesh.
Yes.
It's Bill Krackomberger, everybody. For those who are new to the show, iconic gambling figure here in Las Vegas, Nevada with his Kangol. How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Sorry I failed to tell you that I was out last week.
Oh, no, it's okay. I came down and just, they don't. No one else wants me on except for you. So everyone, they just said, no, Bill, you can't come on. So I just walked out and went home.
No, you didn't come down here, did you? No, Kelly got to you.
Kelly got me the day before.
I apologize. Usually I remember. We were just talking off air. So this is a week where a couple musical icons have passed away, both at the age of 82. Sly Stone a few days ago, who I consider Sly and the Family Stone their own musical genre themselves. I don't think they sounded like anybody else. And then Brian Wilson passes away. Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys passes away at the age of 82, who you loved. And Brian Wilson, responsible for hits like Surfin' USA, I Get Around, obviously big hits like that. Wouldn't It Be Nice? I mean, Good Vibrations. It goes on and on. All those iconic Beach Boys sounds. And while the two of those guys were nothing alike musically, they were similar in the fact that nothing sounded like the Beach Boys either.
Yeah.
They were their own
I'm a
thing.
music guy in general.
Yeah.
I love music. So, and Sly and the Family, oh my God, Sly was everyday people. That's all I could tell you. Like, there was a version of Kermit the Frog did a version with somebody, and it was so good though.
Yeah.
Dolly Parton and Kermit the Muppets was a big show back, years ago, and they did a version. But Brian, it's funny. I was just talking to I have a buddy of mine that's on Twitter, Margin Call, and we were just talking a couple weeks ago about Brian. Didn't know he was going to die.
Yeah. Just
talking about the musical genius of Brian Wilson. So to see it's so sudden and it didn't come out. Listen, the guy's 82. You want to say, oh my God, where do I sign up to live to 82? But then when you get to that age,
of course,
it comes as a shock and sudden, and you don't want it to happen anyway. But he my buddy said he was a musician's kind of musician, like Mark Knopfler or someone that's in the industry. There's certain bands that guys were like so in the beginning of their careers as kids. I'm not talking about, as 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, you just knew they were going to make it in the music industry. Yeah. And Brian was one of them. If you ask any musician, if you isolate all the instruments, it doesn't make sense until they come together. And that's what the Beach Boys did. Even though I didn't have the Beach Boys on play, but I would listen to one of the songs if it was on.
Yeah. I was not necessarily a Beach Boys fan either. In fact, I was not a fan, but I appreciate any musical artist that their sound is so different. Because most folks, there's some derivative nature to it, right? It's a copycat to some degree. Yes. But you can't really detect it in either Sly and the Family Stone or the Beach Boys music. It's amazing.
Yeah, there's a documentary called Promised Road that was out. It's been out for a while, but just to give you an idea, and I'm sure they'll come out with something now on his life. But as we get older, we go to more funerals than weddings.
And so sad. And Sly had a documentary. I think Questlove had a documentary about Sly, so I want to see that as well. Or at least he was part of the documentary. I want to see that.
All right, now can we get into some of these idiots that I'm mad about?
Yes.
Okay. Golf Channel betting analyst.
Oh boy.
Do you know what this idiot said? Sometimes in golf, just like roulette, the trend is your friend.
Oh, boy.
So, in other words, you're telling me because 10 blacks in a row came out, or 10 reds in a row came out, the trend is your friend. This is the people that we have. By the way, he is their gambling expert. He's not just an analyst. He's their gambling expert, go-to guy. No, I'm not going to bury him.
Okay.
I'm not really... I really don't do that. I don't really throw people under the bus. Yeah. People know who he is. I don't think it's a nice look when you go after individuals and people.
Do you know what I appreciate about the Tennis Channel when they delve into gambling?
Yeah.
That they don't try to deep dive it. That they, Brett Haber is their lead lead play-by-play guy, and Brett is smart enough to know a money line conversion to a percentage. and he leaves it at that. And I think for the Tennis Channel audience, that's a beautiful thing to have that much knowledge. Oh, minus 370 after this person wins the first set means that she or he is a blank percentage probability to win the rest of the match. And they just sort of leave it at that.
Right.
They don't really, even if they have like a sponsor like a FanDuel or whomever.
Sure.
But Golf Channel tries to go a little deeper, huh?
It's not only that. There's many different, it just so happens that that's the latest one that I've seen. Someone sent it to me. I didn't see it actually, but they sent it to me. I was like, wow, I had to listen to it again to hear if I heard right. Speaking of which, some people have sent me some things last night. Last night someone sent me something, and excuse me for my ADD.
That's all right.
It was something on like a video on like learning. Here it is. I play this daily roulette strategy daily. So I watched the video. And it was a guy playing, by the way, 73,000 views. A guy playing the bubble craps and the digital roulette. This is actually, there's a wheel. You sit at the wheel and it's like closet gambling. No one knows what you're doing. You have your own machine. You can put the numbers. He's showing people a system, how you can play the streets. The street means like the 3-number streets. And I think you get 11-1 on a street, which is obviously it's terrible odds. Roulette's terrible. It's 5.26 if you're betting straight up. Worse on other bets. But the instructional, let's call them instructional because that's what they want to be called. But they're terrible instructional videos that are out there on different gambling things on YouTube. Of course, there's little shorts on their Instagram and TikTok and stuff. But they're so bad. 73,000 people. And you know what? There's 164 responses. And guess what? They're all good. Oh, thank you. I love this double up system. So the guy was doubling up if he lost those streets, tripling up. I just can't believe people would say, oh, because they just don't know.
But you seized,
and we're too close to the sun, like you say.
You seized on the most important part, which is you expect, because we're too close to the sun, we would expect for someone to be in the comments being like, oh, this is ridiculous.
Nobody.
But nobody is.
Nobody.
No, it's like an army of wow, that's awesome.
There was a slot channel someone sent me. And by the way, I guess people love to watch high-limit slots, and I guess the thrill of it is someone actually betting. So a guy was betting $900 a spin. I watched him yesterday. $900 a spin, and he's supposedly a really nice guy. I'm not throwing him under the bus, because supposedly he's got, by the way, makes millions and millions of dollars. And it's not Vegas Matt, by the way, who I like. But this guy was betting $900 a spin, and you're watching him, and he hit for $150,000. And everyone at home's like, wow, oh my God, this is not like, I guess the reason that people don't realize is that he gets paid to do that. Mm-hmm. And not only that, he gets walk-in money, he gets front money, back cash money, and you may even get an appearance fee. I hear some of these slot guys, and good for them, that's fine. But I like someone to be transparent, like Vegas Matt, that come out and said I lost $360,000 playing last year. So I did lose to show you guys these videos, but he may make millions. I'm sure he makes millions, with his merchandise, his walk-in money, his deals, and you know what I mean?
That little point you made there, when I first started a podcast, when Betting Dork started,
right,
even before Betting Dork, when I was just decided I'm going to do a sports betting podcast, the whole innovation was like, and I'm going to tell people when I lose. Like, what a mind-blowing thing was at that time.
That's not going to sell.
Right? I mean, but imagine, like, that.
Right.
That's because that's what the industry is.
Sure.
Right? Listen, all these sports books, like the same game parlays, there is something about the wiring of the human brain that bet little to win massive amounts of money. If you just tell those stories, people become mesmerized, right? And they know this.
Yes.
And they know this. And that's not the way to be a long-term winner, obviously.
Sure.
But that's the hook.
I've actually resorted to giving in a little bit. By the way, the last one, someone sent me one thing. It was a girl scratching $50 lottery tickets. She bought $1,000 in lottery tickets, and she got back $850, and she got 1 million views. Just scratching $50 lottery tickets. I mean, it's sick. But I've come to the conclusion of, you know what? You're all going to bet your parlays anyway.
Yeah.
I have no problem with someone betting $100 each game straight and betting a $10 5-teamer. Have some fun with that. But the $100, each individual bet of that parlay means more than anything. I would rather not you have that, don't bet the parlay, but I know they're going to do it anyway.
Bill Krackomberger, at Bill Crackman with a K on Twitter. Wisecracks, the name of the podcast, which he does with John Orlando. Coming back, unscripted, on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Always appreciate y'all. Ice Cold Gambler says, I thought Tupac had the hit I Get Around, but no, it was Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys. I learned something every Thursday when Krack is on. Yeah, well, they both had songs with that title and hits with that title. Bama Sluggers. Krack always taking the high road while telling us what's on his mind. # respect. Oh, he's not going to take the high road for long.
Oh, no, I'm getting ready to go.
Stay tuned. Cancer Free from Stage 4 says, when in college, I did yellow jacket security for hundreds of concerts in SoCal in the late 80s. By far, the most enjoyable show I ever did was The Beach Boys.
Wow.
Nothing but fun with attendees having a good time dancing to great music. R.I.P. Brian Wilson,
awesome.
He says. And then the numbers guys, Bill is so right. $5 or $10 is the perfect play for Sunday football 14 parlay. When I was in junior high, there was nothing better than when Beansy would bring in a stack of them white betting sheets.
Yeah, it's the parlay cards probably.
Yeah, parlay cards.
Gill had them.
Can I just say this before we move on? Cancer Free from Stage 4 just reminded me of this because that's the title in his he beat Cancer in 2019. Who's tweeting us, and thank you. The reminder is we were just talking about Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys and Sly Stewart from Sly and the Family Stone, Sylvester Stewart, who was Sly Stone. This has nothing to do with that, but it is in music and it is in my little world and my age group. Also, a tragic passing away of Ananda Lewis at the age of 52. I don't know if this means anything to anybody, but it does to me. When I was growing up and we were just sort of making our way in the music industry, she ended up on BET. She did a show called Teen Summit. She ended up as an MTV VJ. She was on MTV News. She was everybody's crush. She lived her life independent of thought. She was uninfluenced by anybody else. I always admired her for that. And then sadly, she passed away because she did have stage 4 breast cancer. But she was one of these girls who she decided that she wanted to handle her stage 3 cancer in her own way. She did not believe in treating it with Western medicine. She thought that she could do something more homeopathic, and that did not work out for her, and she ends up passing away at the age of 52. And so those of us who knew her a little bit and were influenced by her, that was a big loss for us yesterday.
Oh, it's a shame.
Yeah, I'm so gutted by it. I'm trying to come to terms with why. And I think it's just because we're of the same generation and did the same sort of things. Gil,
MTV, when it first came out, I was like 10 years old. And I remember that was the Bible to me, watching those news people, like you said before, you mentioned Kurt Loder and the different guys. The one guy had curly hair, Mark Goodman.
Mark Goodman was one of the original VJs.
All those, and there was a couple of the girls at night. They were really sexy girls, and they were fun. I remember that. That's why, when Michael Jackson's Thriller, that was like a movie on MTV. That was like the biggest thing. They would announce when they were going to play it, what hour they were going to play it, and replay it. And that was a big thing to us. Now I don't even know what any of the stations are. Like MTV, do they even show videos anymore? I don't even know.
I don't think they do. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I don't even know.
But yeah.
There was another VH1, I think.
VH1.
Was that another network, right?
It was the same company but a little older. It was a little older demo, yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned during the break about, Bill, these people passing, which people that are like 50 or 60, what groups do we have that are, people that we're saying this about now?
Musical artists,
like that are getting into their primes now, or past their, even not past their prime, but
well, just with the Brian Wilsons and the Sly Stones of the world passing away, you think, oh my God, what's next?
What's next?
That kind of thing.
Yeah, no, it is. And we mentioned the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
I seen Tom Jones a couple weeks ago. There's been AC/DC. I seen Brian Johnson just came out on stage and just pretty much stood still. Yet Angus Young was flying around the place with a little schoolboy outfit. So it just depends, on individuals, though. All right, let's get into some...
Speaking of music.
Oh, no. So on the M2M podcast, which I watch religiously...
Which podcast?
M2M. It's called Miles to Memories. These two kids, they're good, though. They go over a lot of different subjects. One of which was the one kid worked at Caesars and how J-Lo and her mom got somebody fired there.
Jennifer Lopez,
yeah. And it's not the first time. This girl, how many, it's just the things that she is just so into. She's from the Bronx. She was born, or you'd think she would know where she comes from. You know what I mean? But that's not the way she is. We've known the tipping situations with her ex-husbands, and she was married to, I don't know, was she married to Diddy? Was she married to whoever she was? These people that she was married to and stuff. Nobody could take her. They got to get rid of her. I mean,
what are the details of her getting someone fired at Caesars, though?
They wanted a different room. The mother wanted a room upgrade, and they demanded a room upgrade, and the employee did the best they could, but they couldn't do it, and they fired the employee. Yeah.
They fired the employee.
Him. Oh, sure. She goes to the top, and they fire her. It's J-Lo, But then again, it's the Caesars Corporation. What do you expect?
That's brutal.
They throw anyone out that wins. So what do you want to do with them?
Wow.
But yeah,
she claims to still be Jenny from the block, though. I must tell you.
Yeah, give me a break.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, now we haven't went over these Bruno Mars, the gambling situation.
Oh, well,
we haven't talked about it.
We never talk about this.
No, we haven't talked about it at all.
Before you even launch into it, would you agree this is the most widely known? Let me not use the word known. The most widely bantied about rumor that exists in Las Vegas.
Oh, it's not a rumor.
It's not, and it's not a rumor.
It's out there now.
Okay, so let's just say widely known.
Yeah.
We've known this for years.
Yeah.
Okay, so
explain. How can you not? He used to put videos out. All these kids at home watching him on these videos playing roulette, and when he had $1 million spin or a $2 million spin, or even he would put these videos out acting. And there was another guy. Was it Drake? I don't know. There was another.
What's the Bruno? What are you talking about? Let everybody know.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. No, I'm just saying that these guys put videos out of them gambling big, and the kids all say, "Ooh, you won $1 million playing roulette. I got to do that." And then of course, destruction. So now he owes
allegedly
owes tens of millions of dollars to a casino, and he's working off his debt.
This is what is part and parcel with this rumor is the reason that Bruno has all of these residencies in perpetuity. It feels like in Las Vegas, right? He's always here. Yeah. He's like furniture in Las Vegas at this point. By the way, he's spectacular.
Oh, great!
Let me put that.
I've seen him too. I thought he was great.
He's the Michael Jackson of this generation.
Oh, he's fantastic.
But the reason that he keeps doing residencies is not because he wants to necessarily. It's because he has to pay this off.
And trust me, I wouldn't be talking about the guy.
Yeah.
And even if listen, I feel bad for anyone that owes money, and the casinos, enable you to do a lot of these things too. We make our own decisions, but there's a lot of enabler things going on too. But I go after him a little bit because of what he did social media wise and showing kids how to gamble and how fun it is to win. And when so that's why I'm saying it. So working off his debt and allowed to still gamble. I'm told he's still gambling at a place, And listen, I'm not saying the guy's broke, but I do personally know someone that he owed many hundreds of thousands to, and he paid him. It just took him a while. So, but again, all these people that want to put their, Jay-Z, you know about this bet, right? The $1 million.
We mentioned it earlier.
You mentioned it earlier?
Yeah. OKC and 5. There goes $1 million.
Yeah, $1 million bucks.
Yeah.
That goes out there.
Fanatics took $1 million for it, really?
Yeah, well, Fanatics is going to take anyone that, they don't know. And by the way, there was a great tweet on this because the odds were so bad on these type of bets. I made a copy of the tweet, and I'm glad I just remembered. Jay-Z losing $1 million on Thunder winning finals in 5 games perfectly captures why celebrity betting gets so much attention while missing the actual story. The real angle isn't the lost wager. It's that plus 230 odds for Thunder winning in exactly 5 games was terrible value to begin with. And it just shows you about a model and game 3. It's just mathematically nonsensical. You could get more value betting on a straight series at most books. And that's bets_Liam. I don't want to give him credit for the tweet. But anyway, it just shows you, though, that of course they'll take these bets because those type of bets that are a futures bet that are one-way action. Mm-hmm. One way. You can't bet 2 ways. You can't bet yes and no. You bet one-way action.
We were just talking about MLB props just like this yesterday.
Yeah. The hold is double-digit. It could be 30, 40, 50% some of the certain markets. So terrible bets, terrible way to bet things. Yes and no. Right here behind us, they take yes and no on a lot of things. I like that. Yeah. I like the yes and no things. So,
wow. By the way, did I ever tell you my brush? Not a brush, but like my closest proximity to Bruno at the Hard Rock back in the day.
Oh no,
in the Hard Rock Gill days.
Okay.
You know the restroom at the Hard Rock that used to exist. If you went by Pink Taco, there was the restroom on the right side there.
It's like right across from Pink Taco.
Exactly.
I remember that.
Across. Yes. Let's just
like
say
an island thing.
Let's just say the cops came in and they caught Bruno.
Wow.
I was just leaving.
Wow.
And they caught him in a compromising position.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So let's leave it at that.
The Hard Rock days.
Now let's talk about a good thing real quick before we go to break. I thought this year's coverage of the Belmont, which is at Saratoga, was fantastic.
Chris Felica. Yes.
It was so good. I wish I would have recorded it. Terry Bradshaw, Bobby Flay talking about the history of things. Art Rooney's grandson talking about the history of the track, the history of the town. Christopher Clement, a trainer that died at 59. John Morrissey, who was a bare-knuckle boxer that started the track 160 years ago.
He fought like this. That's how he fought.
Like that,
That's
right.
how he fought. Yeah.
Bill Mott's 2-year-old granddaughter that passed. It was such a great coverage of the history of the track. And, I used to go every single year with my buddies when I lived back east. And even though I didn't bet horses a lot, the history of that racetrack, the Whitneys, the Barrymores, and the Krackombergers.
And of course, Secretariat flying around the track.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
An original casino. People don't know the Canfield Casino Center in the Commerce Park, I think it's called. That casino was one of the first casinos ever, 140 years ago. Then Bugsy Siegel and Meyer Lansky owned it. And people don't know that. There's a lot of history in Saratoga.
Did you have sovereignty, by the way?
No, I didn't bet the race.
You didn't bet. No. More with the Crack Man right here on A Numbers Game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Coming back. Jamie Leva, thank you for bringing up Ananda Lewis. She was a big part of my youth. She was a spring break must-watch, R.I.P. Yes, she was. Jack Olaquire. Gill, besides being a lifelong White Sox fan, also a lifelong Beach Boys fan. Saw many of their concerts live over the years. For me, the music died yesterday. R.I.P. Brian Wilson. Justin Gilo, he tells us, Crack, he says, there's a channel on YouTube TV called MTV Classics, and it shows 80s music videos.
Oh, wow.
So not MTV standard, but MTV Classics, cool. Yeah. Buddhist Man spitting some Eric B. and Rakim here.
My man.
He said, side note, second best horn sample ever, only trailing They Reminisce Over You by Pete Rock and CL Smooth. They reminisce. Bank on It Sports. Question for you and Krack in light of the Bruno situation. What's the most you ever owed someone and for how long? Oh, man. Not long. Pay it off. Here's the thing. That's the biggest thing in gambling. If you, there is no shame in losing, but know your limits. Be able to pay your debts. So many don't.
Fast pay makes lasting friends.
What's that?
Fast pay makes lasting friends.
There you go.
And in our industry, in our business, when I lived back east and playing with all different people, and I know I'm going to win overall, so I know I'm going to have more winning weeks than losing weeks. I would try to pay Monday, like with Monday Night Football. Yeah. Some of the books went on Monday night back in the day. Tuesday I want to pay because I want to be paid. I know I'm going to be paid more, so I want to be paid on Tuesday. So that you want to pay right away. That's the idea. So, but in our business though, there's floats all the time. There's you float, so you carry as a carry balance, whatever it may be. And it is what it is.
The numbers guys, have you guys ever talked about that Ashton Kutcher story about him acting as a front for a large syndicate? These celebs would seem to be the perfect beard.
We have talked about that a little bit. Now, if you listen to, there's a great book. I listened to the book on tape actually by which is called Audiobooks now, Bill. They're called Smart Money by Michael Koenig.
Oh, great book.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Rick Big Daddy Matthews is Billy Walters, so we know that now. But Ashton Kutcher was one of the guys there. Yeah, no, he's absolutely right. There was a couple beards that they talked about that were big celebrity guys, and some of the big bettors over the years, Bruce Willis, Ashton Kutcher. Again, I think I told you the guy in Con Air. I always forget his name. Con Air. Who's the star of Con Air?
Nicolas
Cage. Yeah. So there's been some big. But that's a great audiobook. It's a good read too, but I have problems reading. I have terrible ADD. Where I used to be my favorite subject, my best subject, but now by page 10, it doesn't make sense because I don't remember what the first 9 pages were.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Which I used to love reading, but the audiobook, Anthony Curtis of Las Vegas Advisor just put a lot of his books on audio, and it's fantastic books on audio. There's an Advantage slot book out by a friend of mine, Michael Kaplan. It just came out a couple weeks ago, and it's just fantastic that it's on audio. So audiobooks are the way to go for me, anyway.
By the way, one of the great Sloan Sports Analytics Conference gambling panels of all time. This is how great MIT Sloan Sports Conference used to be. Michael Koenig, who wrote that book.
Right.
Andrew Garud, who developed the algorithm for the Midas algorithm for Cantor Gaming's in-game stuff, a British derivatives trader, and Dr. Bob. It was just so amazing back then.
Wow.
Montreal Max, the Bruno Mars story takes us back to the days of Sinatra, blowing large money in the casinos he played, and famously Colonel Parker of Elvis fame, keeping Elvis playing the International because he was so deep into the casino, and even more recently, Celine Dion's late husband was losing big.
Yeah, but I mean, he paid his debts, and he was actually a very good guy. Celine Dion's husband was a good person. I know some people that he helped out. Good person. Colonel Parker, not a good person. And yes, great information there. It didn't come out till later in life from a lot of the taking care of business gang there. They kind of ratted him out a little bit. He wasn't a good guy, and he was in debt. He's right, at the International back then. And what was the first one? The first big gambler there on the
Sinatra.
list? Oh, Frank.
Yeah.
I had on Nifty Vickerson on my show. He was
Nifty Vickerson.
Yeah, he was his right-hand man for 15 years. He was his valet. He did he was just there for him on every show. He talked about some of the things that, some great stories about Sinatra. It didn't come out until after he died, and it didn't really come out now. There's probably nobody that raised more money, hundreds of millions of dollars for charities than Frank Sinatra. Elton John's also a big one, but Frank Sinatra gave away a lot of money, went into his pocket for a lot of things, that paid for funerals and different things that no one even knew, for all the bad, because he had some bad stories, about Frank, short-tempered and didn't go for a lot of things. Matter of fact, Nifty said he had to have Campbell's soup, the red cans, that's right, red cans of Campbell's soup, a vegetable soup, chicken vegetable, before every single show.
Really?
And they were in Michigan somewhere, Kalamazoo, I think he said, and they couldn't get the soup, and he flipped out. And next day back in New York, or 2 days later, he's like, Nifty, I got 24 cases coming. Every single show, make sure this soup's at my show. He has to have there was red Lifesavers. There was certain things that he had to have.
Wow.
But I love the stories. But
by the way, there's a food across of the Food That Built America series that's on the History Channel.
Gil.
It's so awesome.
It's so good.
And the Campbell's soup episode was one of the great ones. How it took them forever to figure out, the stuff that we take for granted.
Right.
It took them forever to figure out how to put condensed soup in a can.
Wow.
Yeah.
By the way, I wouldn't recommend it.
No.
Oh God. Now it comes out how bad these canned things are. I mean, and that factory in Camden, New Jersey, one of the garden spots of the world.
We might have missed something here on the Jay-Z story. Jay-Z, who we were talking about, Ben Fox reporting a $1 million bet on OKC to win the NBA Finals in 5, which obviously is a loser. James Fessler at Mizzou Soldier, he says another layer to the Jay-Z bet is that he's an original investor in Fanatics. So how much is he getting back, or was it just a marketing ploy?
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Ryan Kleinfelter adds, I wonder on this Jay-Z Finals bet if this is just a marketing stunt, and that is why Fanatics took the wager. I haven't heard anyone mention this, but Michael Rubin, the owner of Fanatics, has a close relationship with Jay-Z.
I got something to say. It's going to be shocking. I wasn't planning to say it. It just hit me when you said Fanatics. So I know I'm tough on a lot of sports books for throwing people out and limiting people to $100 or $1. I wish I could limit it to 100 at some of them. I don't know a single casino sports book that won't throw you out long term for winning certain type of bets. That's right. I can't name one. And I'm talking about the biggest books, Pinnacle, Offshore, the biggest casinos, everyone in this town, everyone nationwide. I can't name a casino that will not stop you from winning certain type of things. By the way, Joe Public's allowed to bet certain things that I'm talking about, but I'm not. That's what I'm talking about. So even the ones that you think are the big boys, every single one, I can't think of a casino. That's pretty big statement. Every casino will throw you out for winning in certain situations.
Not
cheating, not doing anything wrong,
could you be
just using your brain.
More specific. And we're just
I'm not allowed to bet baseball parlays. Boston Red Sox and under, home team and under.
Yeah.
Boston plus $1.20 and under 7 runs. I'm not allowed to bet if they're home. It's a stupid little correlation. It's not worth hardly anything, except on certain pitchers that we thought were better in this situation, closing bullpens and stuff. And I'm not allowed to bet them, I don't think, anywhere in this town, including Circa. I'm not allowed to bet him anywhere.
Remember, I think I told a Wishnev story that was similar to this. So when he was betting at the Westgate years ago, and again, we've talked about this before, it was available to bet on the app. So one of these things.
You can bet it if you want on your app.
Right.
I can't bet it.
Oh, no. But I'm back in the day, Wishnev. He bet something on his app, very similar to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He bet something on the app. They approached him in the sports book and they said, you don't do that again or we'll throw you out. He's like, what are you talking about? What did I do? Right? It's like, so it's, if it's available mechanically to be bet on your app.
It's one of my subjects.
No one would know not to do it. And so I just remember Wishnev being like, well, I wouldn't have done it if you had told me not to, but it's there. Like, how would I know?
It's not our fault that your apps take these things.
That's right.
So if you have a busted algorithm or whatever it may be, it's not our fault that you accept certain parlays and stuff. It's just we've conditioned society to think that parlays are normal and it's fun to bet same game parlays and all these other things. So now if we found, I'm not going to say a flaw, but for lack of a better word, a flaw where I feel I have a little bit of an edge of betting something correlated, it's not my fault that your kiosk or your app takes that bet. So it's so stupid to make someone stop betting that too, because I'm just going to have Gill or somebody else bet it. I mean, you're not even going to know about it until you get hit for a couple thousand. Rather than just take a small bet from me and learn from me, if that's what you're saying, I'm so sharp. But no, they just want to throw people. And this is a blanket statement on the entire industry.
It was a fast-moving morning at the U.S. Open. It has been pretty stagnant since. We'll update the leaderboard. On the other side, numbers game, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Let's roll through what we have, courtesy of G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. Each show, every host, every guest, every sport with all their plays. I'm on the Pacers +6, Game 4. I was on the Pacers plus the points last night in the contest. And as an actual bet, I don't have any more contest plays, but I'll be betting the Pacers yet again. Give me the points. Also have the Tigers' most wins in June going and Leon Draisaitl to win Conn Smythe. But the Oilers gotta get off the schneid. Well, they do have one win, so it's not off the proverbial schneid, but you get what I mean. They're down 2-1 to the Panthers. Oilers, not quite a must-win, but kind of must-win, if you know what I mean, in Game 4 tonight in Florida. Kelly is on the Thunder money line, Game 4. I suppose we could both win then by that outcome. So he's on the Thunder money line, Game 4. And again, if you're thinking about betting the Pacers on the series price, probably should just bet the Pacers on the money line in game number 4 because the chances of them winning the series without winning Game 4 probably slim, and you get a better price on the Game 4 money line than you do on the series money line price on the Pacers. All of that brought to you by G-Bank, the official bank of VSiN. Once again, the G-Bank trifecta in full effect. The $500 trifecta from G-Bank, First Bet, and VSiN. All you need to do is open a G-Bank Visa Signature credit card. In the first 90 days, deposit and play through $1,000 at First Bet. To trigger the $500 trifecta, you'll receive $200 in cashback rewards on your G-Bank Visa Signature credit card. First Bet will give you a $100 deposit match. VSiN completes the trifecta with a free VSiN Pro subscription through October 31st, a $200 value. That's the $500 trifecta from G-Bank, First Bet, and VSiN. Head to VSiN.com/GBank. That's VSIN.com/GBank. This one-time promotion is limited to customers opening a new account in response to this offer and will not apply to requests to convert existing accounts. Apply today. Terms and conditions apply. We get tweets at Beating the Book. This is from, Rich PSM. Kelly, you're missing the huge ingredient the Thunder forgot to add. Even Indiana has a veteran with rings to make key plays under pressure. Robert Horry, Chauncey Billups. That's why they'll lose. This. Okay. I assume he means Pascal Siakam in terms of that. Montreal Max. I forgot during the first week of the French to compliment Gill and his flawless pronunciation of all tennis players' names weekly. Well done and not easy. And, well, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Steve the Proxy, R.I.P. Ananda Lewis. Yes, a beautiful spirit. So sad to see her gone way too soon. Fun fact, she won a beauty pageant as a child with a self-choreographed dance to Ebony and Ivory by Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney. Yeah, like I said, what a beautiful soul and spirit. A lot of us were really moved by that yesterday. Oh, yes, and Mike Rouse. I got to bring this up right now. Are you planning to discuss the golf betting lawsuit with Krack, the lawsuit you discussed on Monday? Yes, Krack. Got to get your I need you to chime in on this. So, a dude in Iowa,
right?
$14.2 million he's suing DraftKings for. He, after the third round of the Pebble Beach Pro-Am last year, 2024, after the third round, he saw the weather forecast and he said, oh, they might not play this. So I'm going to put in, this is him talking now, this is me acting like he's talking.
Sure.
He goes ahead and puts in parlays where you could do exact positions on the leaderboards. So what he did, with the possibility of them scuttling the entire final round, fourth and final round, he ends up putting in parlays on everybody's finishing position, 1 through 20, I believe it was. Anyway, they scuttle the fourth round, as it turns out. They call the tournament after 3 rounds, and he, quote unquote, makes $14.2 million. Now he's suing DraftKings. DraftKings is like, we're not paying you. I said on Monday, I'm like, well, at first I was on the sportsbook side, then I kind of see what he's saying. I'm not really sure. You?
If it's in the rules that they must play 72 holes, then of course DraftKings has their case and it's over.
I don't think that was in the rules. Okay. I don't think it said 72.
Okay, so if it didn't say they have to complete 4 rounds of golf, if it didn't say that, he maybe got a little greedy. He could have not won $14 million.
I was going to say.
I mean, he could have won, a couple $100,000, and they may have just said, give him his money so we don't have to get the bad press. But instead, he went the greedy route, $14 million. And you know me, I'm on the side of the players 99.9% of the time. So it matters the wording of this. I don't see him getting a grocery dollar.
You don't see him getting a grocery dollar from it?
No, he may get his $300 back.
The DraftKings, let's see, the DraftKings rule was, unilaterally voided. All 5 of his bets are refunded, citing rules on futures bets which state they are canceled if they are placed after the last shot of what is later deemed to be the final round of the tournament. Then?
How can they even, why even get, listen, and you know me, I'm like I said, 99.9. Why is this even a case then? If that's the rules and the stated rules, and you took a shot at them without reading the rules, which most people do anyway. I don't even read all the rules on certain things. So there's so many rules. You'd be here till the end of the time. So it shouldn't even be a case.
What they are claiming is that there's other language that then counters that one, that makes it a little more vague. So that's where it becomes a bit of a word salad. What they're saying is they're applying rules however they feel like it, given the circumstance. So in this case, they apply that language.
Yeah.
That's their claim.
No, well,
you're probably right though. They probably don't see it.
Trust me, I like I said, this is in this case, I have to side with a sport. You're betting on an event after it's over. You're betting. You're betting an event after the event's over.
He clearly knew what he was doing and was taking a shot.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
But I'll tell you again. I'm telling you, Gill, if he would have won $100,000, to avoid the bad press, they would have gave him the money.
Yeah.
Now, because I know what happens. You got guys like Vegas Paulie C put a video out, a tweet. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what 11 to 10 means. But all he does is put out DraftKings owes them money because it's it's the buzz. What's that? There's a show, TMZ. It's the TMZ of whatever social media it is. So it just makes DraftKings look bad. And I'm like I said, I don't really like to go after unless I know I'm 100% right.
You know what the lawyer is claiming here? They're claiming I don't know if he's just pulling this out of his what, but he says the rules that DraftKings had in place at the time of the tournament did not allow them to void the bets. They changed the rules after the tournament.
Well, that's different then. There could be some settlement here.
Maybe.
And trust me, I'm not allowed to bet at DraftKings. So I'm not allowed to bet on their app. I say I'm not allowed. I'm limited to a couple of grocery dollars. At the counter, they're very good to me. They take $1,000 bets. So they're very good to me. Until that time, I'm not going to look for reasons to go after them or anyone else.
Thank you, Mike Rouse, for reminding me to bring that up with Krack, though. I intended to do that on Monday. Okay, and then there's something else that's annoying you.
Oh no, this I mentioned on my podcast. The Hall of Excellence at Fontainebleau, they have this thing, and Tom Brady in collaboration with Jim Gray. I'm not a Jim Gray fan to begin with, so
the Pete Rose thing.
Yeah, not even more. He did a couple things in life that I wasn't a fan, just to get himself some press. So they have this at Fontainebleau. It's a Hall of Excellence. It's all different memorabilia from the different athletes. Tiger Woods' first ball from the first Masters he won, and like all different type of things like that. Tom Brady's, a lot of his memorabilia, and there's some great, by the way, some great things there. Air Jordan's first pair of Air Jordans that he ever had that came out with. The bat used by Jackie Robinson to break the color barrier. There's some great things at this.
Did you say first Air Jordans that he ever wore? Is that what you said?
Michael Jordan's first pair of Air Jordans in 1984, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And also is the first NBA championship shoes that were worn by Michael Jordan.
Jackie Robinson's first bat?
Some really cool things.
Wow.
Super Bowl rings, Muhammad Ali's gloves he wore against a great fight against Chuvalo. There's some great things here. My thing is, why are you charging $35 to get in?
I knew that. I knew this was going to be the end of it.
$20 for kids to get in.
Yeah.
Do you know the foot traffic? Something. By the way, I'm only mentioning one or like 5 things. There's 150 items here. But I just think about us walking through Hard Rock and all the stuff we see for free, memorabilia.
Yes.
And
all of that rock and roll
walk-in
stuff.
traffic.
Yes.
You get walk-in traffic and people come in, and then now what do? They come in for free to see the thing. Let's gamble here. Let's go to Mother Wolf and spend $500. Yeah. Let's gamble a little bit. This is just I can't take the gouging. Listen, it's too strong of a word, gouging, for this situation. I don't mean to say it, but why not just have the foot traffic come into your casino? You're a failed casino. You're doing the guy that runs Fountain Blue market, he's in the marketing and stuff. He doesn't even like gamblers. One thing about Derek Stevens, I said it yesterday, even Steve Wynn, they were gamblers, so they love gamblers. Derek Stevens loves gamblers because he gambles. He gets it. He knows the pulse of the industry. So, but these casinos with guys with college degrees that never gambled before and don't know the pulse of the industry, I use that word a lot. It's a shame that, listen, I understand this is a great thing to do if you're coming from out of town. You want to. I'll stick by what I said. You can't be charging $20 to get in, $35, $20 for kids to get in, just to see some memorabilia where, it's not like you're going to the Boxing Hall of Fame where you're going to pay to get in, or even the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
100% agree.
You know what I mean? It's Vegas. It makes great foot traffic. Why charge people?
That was part of the Hard Rock's charm.
That's
all of that memorabilia.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Free for your eyes to see.
Yep.
Bill, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
Crackman. Bill Krackomberger, everybody, at Bill Crackman with a K on Twitter. Wisecracks, the name of his podcast.